Hello and welcome to Stretford Paddock. This is the draw for the Europa League quarter-final. I'm joined by Casey Evans. How are you, Casey?
I'm good, thanks, Joe. Thanks for having me on. We're going to talk about the Europa League.
We are going to talk about the Europa League, the premier competition in Europe. None of this Bayern Munich versus PSG nonsense. Who are Manchester United playing? That's the question. Let us know in the comments at home who you want us to draw. And before we get into anything else, who do you want us to draw, Casey?
You know what to draw? I'd prefer Slavia Prague.
Really? You're going for the let's take an easy route to the final?
Yeah, because
technique.
obviously we've got a few games coming up with the FA. If we're still in the FA Cup, we've got a couple of games coming up where I'm like, having a nice Europa League draw to kind of like allow us to manage into the end of the season before we fight. We beat,
this is war, Casey.
Before we play someone good is probably better in the grand scale, the grand scheme. But like, you want to see a good match, so I wouldn't mind getting one of the like harder opponents, but you want the easy draw really at this point.
Yeah, I see your point, and certainly in terms of winning the FA Cup and the Europa League, the easier draw as possible, we've got a better chance of doing that. But for me, I want to get Arsenal or Roma or Ajax. I want big boy teams. Let's make this feel like the Champions League a little bit. None of this, how did you get to the final? We beat, Zagreb. I want to beat the best teams.
We'll split the difference with Villarreal. Between us, if
all right, yeah, we can all agree on Villarreal. Let us know in the comments, like I said, who you want Manchester United. Jamie Burton says, is this not the live watch-along for the under-23s versus Spurs? It isn't. And I think the thumbnail and title made that particularly clear, but thank you for your question anyway, Jamie.
That is also the other premier competition in Europe, but this is the
second. Yeah, so number 1, Europa League. Number 2, under-23s.
Number 3, Carabao Cup.
Number 3, Carabao Cup. Number 4, because technically the Carabao Cup has got, Swansea in it, which is Welsh, so therefore it's a European competition, yes, exactly. International. People saying they want us to coast to the final, Slavia or Granada. People saying Granada. Obviously, we want Granada. Everyone wants the easy run. I want Arsenal, Roma, Ajax. Before the draw starts, it should be starting around 15:15, but we're going to be bringing you every single second of that, every single moment of it. Before that, let's have a little look at the teams who United can possibly face. We should have a graphic, but producer Cam isn't available to do it at the minute. We will be able to get this graphic on screen very shortly. Isn't that right, Cam? Thank you. He's going for it. Right, let's start off with the big boys. We'll go in order. I don't know what the order is, but we're doing in an order.
The order that I sent.
The order that you sent it through in.
Yeah.
Ajax.
Okay.
One of the biggest teams in Europe. Little fact file here. Top of the league by 8 points with a game in hand. So that's done. Let's call that done. They've won their league, which is no surprise. Then we've got the top scorer is Dusan Tadic, of Southampton fame, obviously, of getting a 10 rating in L'Equipe, which is very difficult to do.
Difficult, unless you're Lionel Messi.
Unless you're Lionel Messi or anyone in the last few years, because they dish them out like nobody's business.
Who scored assisted 5 for Nice, and he was like, yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Have a random 10 rating.
They won their last aggregate fixture 5-0 in the round before this. And of course, we met them in the final in 2017. Give me your thoughts on Ajax and how difficult it would be to face them.
I feel like Ajax have always been in that team that are in the constant transition of this is a young team that is going to only get better. But the fact is that they're a young team that's only going to get better, and then all their young players get bought.
Fuck off, yeah.
So like
De Jong.
So like when we played them, I think it was
centre-back.
De Ligt might have been around the team. Davinson Sanchez was out there and considered thing. Onana was just coming in, all that sort of thing. And then they all sold, so they've just gone and bought new young stars. But they're always on that cusp, and they obviously have a good system in place and a good style of football. They went very far in the Champions League. They went very far in the Europa League in both seasons. But they're probably the hardest team there because they're the most unpredictable. They have a very good style of football. They could probably cut through you at a moment.
And they're also the team that is most used to winning.
Yes.
I know obviously Slavia Prague are top of the league as well, but like the rest of these teams, Roma 6th, United 2nd. I know I would put us as favourites, but other teams we can face, Arsenal obviously win plenty of games, but are a mid-table team. Ajax are sort of perennial champions of Holland. Win more games than anyone else on this list. Have more of a European pedigree than most of the teams on this list. For me, they would be the toughest fixture, except Arsenal.
Yeah, it's that mentality of you say like, if you win a trophy, you have it in your mind that you can win a trophy, which is what people have been saying. United need to get the trophy to start having. But like as you said, Ajax, it's like you can bring in a young team and they can go and win the league like it's nothing, and then they're built up to have a trophy. I mean, obviously they're missing their keeper. Onana, we were discussing this before, has been banned for 12 months for accidentally taking one of his wife pills that then led to a drug test. That's the club's statement on it.
Accidentally.
Yes, he was found with trace elements of something in his urine. he's now been banned.
I like how I say urine instead of urine. Let's move on. Arsenal. Next up, it's Arsenal.
Yeah.
This is what I've got on my notes here.
Yeah.
It is Arsenal.
It is
We know Arsenal. We've struggled against Arsenal. I think Ole's lost 3 times to him in his time as United manager. Never beaten Arsenal in the league. Has, of course, beaten him in the FA Cup. That's, I would say, up there with Ajax is the most difficult of the games.
I take the mentality of if we knock them out, it would be very funny. But it would also be very funny if we didn't have to have the risk of them knocking us out and someone else knock them out.
Yeah.
So I'd like probably not to get Arsenal this round.
Okay, and Dinamo Zagreb up next. First in the Croatian League. Went through after beating Spurs 3-0 with a wonderful, wonderful game last night. Orsic got the hat-trick.
Yeah.
His first goal and third goals were both incredible.
They were
That
incredible.
third goal was like, what is going on? It literally like, remember those clips you used to see of Ronaldinho playing for PSG? And you're like, what's happening here?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Obviously,
Just
it's nothing like
carved.
Ronaldinho,
Yeah,
but
he just carved through them.
tore through Tottenham. Orsic, the danger man, who scored a hat-trick last night. These would be difficult, but if it wasn't for the game last night, which obviously has happened, so we can't act like it didn't, you would have put these toward the top of who would be the easiest to beat. Do you think that Tottenham result has changed things in terms of how hard they are to beat?
I feel like I'd view them as the ones, like we always get that sort of fixture in the Europa League where it's like the first leg we struggle, the second leg we then go and kind of walk over and take it seriously, sort of thing. I think Midgetland. I don't know.
Midgetland? What is this,
I'm
fucking
so
Lilliput?
used to that being in a group. Anyway, Midgetland, that sort of performance we had a couple of seasons ago. It was one of those that before last night, but then you've got to take into account that those sorts of teams sometimes come out and absolutely wipe us forward, and then we have to deal with breaking down, and we're not very good at breaking down teams who block low, so we have to do that. I really wouldn't want to face that performance, so it's one of those ones where we have to take it seriously.
Yeah, it'd be difficult, wouldn't it? The draw should be coming at around 1:15. Obviously, we'll be giving you every second of that. We'll give you the whole draw. Yeah. I don't know if they're doing it the same way as the Champions League, where they've given basically the tree to the final on both sides. Again, we'll, of course, bring you all of that. But we're just going through all of the possible draws United could face. Up next, Granada. Granada reports, formerly ITV Granada. We all know them. It is the city that named that,
Is it?
Yeah, Granada, for those who don't know, was like a northwest thing, where it's like Manchester's news on ITV was called Granada Reports for some reason, but it's named after the city in Spain.
You're full of interesting facts.
I am, and that's not even on the fact file, Casey. That's just up here. I
up
googled
here.
that about 3 days ago.
You want to hear his fact on Paul Simon? That was absolutely mind-blowing.
Yeah, Paul Simon, obviously of Simon and Garfunkel fame. 8th in La Liga are Granada, and their top scorer is Roberto Soldado. We all know him from being very good at Valencia and very bad at Tottenham.
Yeah.
They've also got a player called Luis Suarez.
Yes.
Not that one.
Not that one.
Not that same one.
Not that one. He's
23-year-old and he's Colombian.
Yeah, so he's a bit different.
Yeah.
It's a weird team because obviously I never seen Granada in this position before.
You've never done any Granada reports?
No, I've never done any
This
Granada
is the first
reports.
one.
This is my first one.
Good luck.
Obviously, Soldado has found a bit more form. I mean, I say found form. He's scored 7 goals in all competitions. Granada,
That's not form. That's what Martial's done.
Yeah, that's kind of like he's done all right for a struggling team. And Luis Suarez, to probably give some description of what he is. Watford had that weird spell. I was saying it to you before. Watford had that weird spell where they just bought a load of South American strikers and forwards, never played any of them, and then sold them all.
Fantastic.
Which was weird. It was like
what an exclusive group that is.
It was him, Alberto Penaranda from like Udinese, and then after there was another guy, and they just then sold them all, and he was one of them, and he's kind of all right, and I think he's been linked with a couple of moves away, but it's one of those teams that you would think we'd win. Yeah,
you think we'd win that one. Doug Shields says, I hope we draw Tottenham. I don't know if that's Joe Hart's burner account in the comments, but Tottenham, unfortunately, I'm so sad to say, got battered last night by Dinamo Zagreb. Let's move on then to Roma. We know a bit more about Roma. 6th in the Serie A, 50 points, joint with Napoli. They've got Borja Mayoral, who is their top Europa League scorer, left in the competition with 7 goals. They've also got, obviously, Dzeko. We know Dzeko.
Yeah.
Lorenzo Pellegrini. Don't know much about him. Chris Smalling and Mkhitaryan also play for them and can play against Manchester United. That almost is like perfect poetic justice, isn't it? Mkhitaryan, who arguably was one of the stars of our Europa League victory in 2017, and Chris Smalling could now knock us out of the competition if we got Roma.
And the side note that is Chris Smalling in that statement.
9 goals and 8 assists for Mkhitaryan this season, which, anytime a midfielder gets close to double digits for goals and assists, they all double-double. That's a relatively good season.
Yeah.
Not outstanding, obviously 8 and 9, not great. But looks to have recaptured a bit of form there, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's been playing really well. He's been a really good driving force. Obviously, we said Dzeko, he's kind of not been hitting the heights that he has in previous seasons, but he's still dangerous. Mayoral has been playing really well in the Europa League. Lorenzo Pellegrini is the one that all statistic nerds and stuff like that, and people who...
Would you consider yourself a statistic nerd?
Yeah, I include myself in that. But
it's good that you do that, because otherwise I'd have to tell you were one. And
exactly.
That might be
but he's the one that he's like, he's got a 27 million release clause. Anyone who wants a 10, we're starting the draw now actually. But anyone who wants a 10 should go out and sign him. He's that sort of player. He's very good.
First out of the hat, then the draw has begun. First out of the hat is Granada, I believe. Granada CF for the first draw, and they will be facing Gael Clichy doing the draw.
I know that's the best technique he's ever shown on
football
ever.
It is. He was one of those players that he moved to City, and I thought, he's 23. Google him, 30.
Yeah.
He was way older than you thought he was.
Is it Besiktas now? Oh, no.
Is he still playing?
Yeah, I think he plays
No
in
chance. So it'll be the first draw will be Granada, and they will be facing
Manchester United.
Go on, Gizzit.
Yeah!
Manchester United. So there's the first draw done. Manchester United will face Granada. It's as simple as that. Arguably the easiest draw left in the competition, essentially. 8th in La Liga.
I think a lot of people want him because it's an easy draw and it's not far to travel.
And it's not far to travel. That's good. And Manchester United will be at home in the second leg. So there's the first draw. United done, quick, out the way. Let's get the rest of the draw done as well. Next up, then.
It's very smooth. It's a very smooth ball opening technique.
Very smooth ball opening technique. Clichy putting a bit of spin on it. Is Arsenal. So we'll find out who they're facing straight away as well.
Give him Ajax.
It's good that they get him early, because that way they can still face all the big boys.
It depends on the situation, because I don't know if that now means that if because obviously we now see that it's quarterfinal, semi-final, final. They've drawn it that way. So
yeah, so we can stick around, because we'll be finding out who United's next opponent will be, and then obviously who will be on the other side of the draw as well. So United have got Granada, been drawn against Granada. We'll go over that once all the draw has been done. Arsenal will be facing Slavia Prague. Again, an easy draw for them, really.
Yeah.
I mean, as easy as things can get in the quarterfinal of an international competition.
We saw last night that their keeper got kicked in the head, basically.
Yeah.
Kemar Roof had a great performance of coming on for 1 minute, kicking a keeper in the head, then getting sent off.
Yeah, knocking out Rangers.
And then obviously there's the horrific thing that the Rangers midfielder was apparently racially abused during the match, which is Ajax are playing in the next one.
Which obviously is awful.
It is awful, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's awful, and it should be dealt with the way it should be dealt with. So that's probably going to be seen in the last.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see what happens there, because, I mean, if it was up to me, they would be kicked out of the tournament. Like, if that has been proven to have happened, kick them out of the tournament, bring Rangers back in. Yeah. I mean, and I'm not a big fan of Rangers particularly, but,
Roma versus Ajax.
Versus Ajax, that's helpful for United in terms of getting an easy run to the final.
Yeah.
Obviously, two of the big favourites there, sort of two of the stronger teams, will play each other. One of them's going out, so it's Ajax versus Roma in the other tie there.
That'll be interesting, and it would be it's safe to see if they're on the other side of the draw, then that might make it a bit easier for.
Yeah, we're still waiting to see the rest of the tree for the full draw. So then after that is Dinamo. And they're going to get either Villarreal.
I think they get Villarreal.
I think they get Villarreal, don't they?
That's Villarreal.
It's either Villarreal or no one, or Rangers, and they will be facing Villarreal, obviously. Let us know your thoughts of getting Granada in the comments. Let us know what you make of that. It's pretty. I mean, I was more of the fan of
the bigger draw,
getting a big team. Let's have fun. Let's watch big games that we can get excited for, that we can be nervous for. Granada's a slightly different way of doing things. Obviously, 8th in La Liga. Not one to overlook by any means, but certainly gives us a better chance of winning the competition,
and also the benefit is that if we do well in the first, like, we can start playing players who obviously won't get much more minutes. Like Diallo might get a full game. We might see Shortire come in at substitute. We might see a couple more players just getting a little bit of a run out.
And hopefully, on the other side of things as well, Rashford, Bruno, Pogba, Maguire, maybe we can rest them. Let's hope we do. Have a good result over in Spain. The problem with having that away leg first is you're less likely to get a big score and therefore less likely to be able to rest people. Now into the semi-final, it will be a winner of quarter-final 1, which is Manchester United.
That's us.
So we'll find out straight away. This is well done, Gail. Get us straight through here.
We haven't had the story of like all the cities and the players that come from them that usually comes out in these sort of draws. But
So the winner of quarterfinal 1, which is Manchester United, will face
The winner of
quarterfinal 3, which was, I believe, Ajax and Roma. So United will have a very tricky draw in the semi-final if we get there. United will face, if we beat Granada, United will face Ajax or Roma in the semi-final, which there's your big game.
On the reverse, gives Arsenal...
of course, now means that the winner of Arsenal and Slavia Prague will face the winner of Zagreb and Villarreal.
Yes.
Of course. You know what? I don't mind that. And someone in the comments has said another semi-final exit. Maurice, you're getting way ahead of yourself. We've got a quarter-final to win first, and who knows? We may finally get to a final under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Yeah. Just to confirm, then the winner of quarter-final 2 will face the winner of quarter-final 4, which is Arsenal or Slavia Prague.
If he gets to semi-final, that means the home leg will be first as well. And the way that was drawn, wasn't it?
Yes. So the winner of Arsenal. Slavia Prague will face the winner of Dinamo and Villarreal, which, I'll be honest, means to me we're playing Arsenal in the final of this thing.
Yeah.
Like, that can happen now.
If it goes
the situation that none of us wanted is now on the table. Manchester United can face Arsenal in the final of the Europa League, which, nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that? We'll go through again. We'll go through the full draw in just a second. The initial thoughts that Manchester United can play Arsenal in the final of the Europa League. How does that make you feel?
I'd like it because obviously it gives us a chance to finally put the demons of... It gives us more motivation to try and put the demon of we can't beat Arsenal at the moment to bed.
But over a single leg, I think that gives us the least chance of beating them. I think over 2 legs, our quality would show we do enough. But in a single game, as we know from playing Arsenal in recent seasons, we do struggle.
Yeah. It's a hard one because then the fact is with Arsenal is like, I look at that and I'm like, Arsenal went out to Olympiacos and they lost yesterday to Olympiacos. Like, they have it in them to lose before then. So Arsenal being in the final is not a foregone conclusion. It should be how Arsenal are doing, and it should be how, with the quality of players that they have, they should be getting to the final. But it's not a foregone conclusion that that's going to be the case. Yeah. But also, it's not a foregone conclusion that United will get to the final. So it's like you got to look at it in all sort of aspects in that sense.
We've got a super chat from Cosplay Gamer 907. We can take that possible opponents thing off now because we aren't facing any of them except Granada. Cosplay Gamer 907 says easiest route to the final ever. I mean, is it? We've already faced what was at the time second in La Liga, and whoever it was we played last night.
I mean, Sociedad were on good form, or kind of dropped off their good form when we played them.
AC
Milan were in good form, so that's pretty hard in that sense.
And then obviously this game, Granada would hopefully be a bit more easy. But then Roma or Ajax in the semi-final, that's a Champions League fixture. Most seasons.
That is. Both of those teams have it in them that they were just drawn in harder groups. Like Ajax was, I think, drawn in a harder group. So it's like, you got to look at it like that. But that is a hard fixture. Like, that is the hardest fixture you could have got at that point, because it's literally like trial by fire between the two other hardest teams that aren't English teams, and like then see what happens. So I don't think it's an easy run. That's
very interesting point here from Dave O'Sullivan with a super chat. Said, you're forgetting that Emery is the Villarreal manager who has won the Europa League many times. Did he win it 3 times with Sevilla? Or was it twice that he won it with Sevilla? Either way, he's won it with Sevilla multiple times. Does that change things for you at all?
But then Sevilla won it without him as well.
Yeah, they've got weird Europa League DNA, haven't they?
Yeah,
But what are your thoughts on Villarreal? We never got to them in our fact file.
When you actually think about that, that was something that's completely slipped my mind. That'll be an interesting game of Arteta versus Emery for Arsenal if they get to that point.
That's a good point.
Like, because Emery will be out with a point to prove, and obviously he's got a system in place where he's got some good players. They picked up, I think they picked up Coquelin, who also plays for Villarreal, and they picked up Parejo, who are very good Spanish players for literal dirt cheap, and they've got some very good players in the team. Paco Alcacer, who was at Dortmund, had that very good season before they sold him. Gerard Moreno's pretty good. And then we were going to talk about him, but Pau Torres, who is apparently a centre-back candidate in terms of
United have been linked with him repeatedly.
Yeah, he plays for them as well. So it would have been an interesting audition if we'd played them, but they have a really good team actually now when I think about it on paper. So it'll be an interesting game.
People asking in the comments, we got Granada question mark. Yes, Manchester United will face Granada in the quarterfinals of the Europa League. We've got a comment here from Josu Contreras, which I'm guessing maybe Spanish based on his comment. It says, guys, you don't have much knowledge about Granada. Granada is a very good team, which last year did very well in the Spanish league. They are very physical. I'll admit, I don't have too much knowledge about Granada. Haven't watched Granada play too many times. If you could let us know if there are any Spanish watchers at home, let us know a bit about Granada, because we can get the fact file, we can Google stats, we can Google results. But I'll be honest, I haven't watched 10, 15, 20 Granada games in the last season. In my head, 8th in La Liga wouldn't necessarily represent the biggest challenge, when I would say La Liga is probably at the weakest point it's been in close to 15 years.
I mean, it's very top heavy. It's always.
But even then, it's not like it's top heavy. But the team who are top got dismantled by Chelsea, who admittedly are playing well at the moment. But Barca aren't the team they were 5 years ago or 10 years ago. Same can be said for Real Madrid. And I know that things start to get a bit different in mid-table. The mid-table could have got better. I'm not saying it hasn't.
I mean, them being in the Europa League is kind of the testament of the fact that they played very well last season. I mean, it's going to be an interesting game. I think physicality is something that you don't usually get with Spanish teams. Usually, you occasionally get the one or two players who are the ones that nip at your ankles, a la Ander Herrera. But like, physicality will be interesting to see how we deal with that. But it's like you said, it's a team that I've not really watched much of. When you watch Spanish football, it's like, oh, it's the El Clasico, or it's Atletico versus the big teams.
There aren't many Granada matches on telly in England.
No, not really. And like I said, the only Granada we see is Granada reports.
Yes,
stated.
Very nice.
But it'll be interesting.
We need to call our match preview Granada reports, don't we?
Yes, unless that's copyrighted, and
it almost certainly is.
It almost certainly is.
People saying the final against Arsenal, if possible, would be incredible. So for those who haven't seen or for those who haven't heard, United are on one side of the draw. United versus Granada and Ajax versus Roma are one side of the draw. So the winner of United Granada will play the winner of Roma and Ajax. On the other side of the draw, we've got Slavia Prague versus Villarreal.
Yes.
And then we've got, or is it Slavia Prague versus Arsenal?
Dynamo
Zagreb versus Villarreal. The winner of those two will play each other, and then the winner of that game will meet in the final against the winner of Ajax and Roma and Manchester United and Granada. So in theory, if United get to the final, they will face one of Slavia Prague, Dinamo Zagreb, Villarreal, or, of course, the one we all want, Arsenal. So Manchester United-Arsenal is a possible final this season, which would be pretty fantastic. Any final thoughts before we go?
Yeah, on paper, I think we should get to the final. I think that getting to the final, I think, is the progression we need to show. Mm-hmm. I would like us to show the progression of us winning it, but I think we just need to break the semi-final curse so everything falls into place, if you get what I mean. I feel like that has been the unsurmountable hill that United have had, and it's the stat that people get battered around the head with Solskjaer. And, as soon as we win it, well, it'll be like, oh, well, Solskjaer's only won one of his last 4 semi-finals, because that'll just be the way it is. But the fact of just having that little bit of leeway of, well, we've won one, might help other things fall into place later down the line.
These games, by the way, will be taking place on the 8th of April, which is about 2-3 weeks' time. Yes. Well, 3 weeks yesterday time. And the second legs will be the 15th of April, 1 week later. So 8th of April, we've got the international break coming up next week. Then it's basically the week after that. 8th of April will be the first leg. United will face Granada away first, and then at Old Trafford second. Thank you very much, Casey, for joining us. Right. Once again, Manchester United have drawn Granada in the quarter-final of the Europa League. The other results, the other draws, Ajax will face Roma, Arsenal will face Slavia Prague, and Dinamo Zagreb will face Villarreal. Manchester United probably got the most favourable draw potentially left in the competition, but we still have to go and win it, don't we?
Yes.
Very difficult game coming up. Again, 8th of April will be the first leg, 15th will be the second. Thank you very much for joining us. We have got Howson's Brew coming up later with Stephen Howson and Jay Motti, so make sure you stick around for that. Thank you once again. We'll see you in a bit.